Hello. Some of the visitors went breathless. Some of the serious observers shared their curiosity, looking at the photographs of dark gas chambers, pile of empty poisonous gas containers, train tracks leading to Auschwitz, suitcases, prosthetics, and many more. This is from an exhibition of photographs titled Yours is Not to Reason Why by Bangalore-based entrepreneur and photographer Sudeesh Yezhuvath, happening at Karnataka Chitrakala Parishath. The Kochi version of this exhibition, conducted a couple of months back, had more than 2,000 footfalls.
No, but I tell you what is different, and possibly that's one of the interesting things that the curators make. I've seen thousands of pictures.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's not anything new.
Yes.
But I think it is in the frames of what you have captured. Yeah? I mean, like see this one. I think in some ways it's just very ominous.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So I just wonder what must have gone on in your mind as you were clicking. Because at one level you are a photographer, but at another level you are a person, right?
Yes, yes. So for me, see, you started from 2011, I had a
Yeah, correct, I saw that.
So at that time, I thought I would never have to face this question in India.
Yeah.
Okay. By the time 2018 came,
Yeah.
I was not so sure anymore.
Yeah.
So, that's a very difficult question to face. And
Yeah.
nobody in a democracy should have to face the question.
Exactly.
So when I visited Auschwitz in 2018, the problem was like immediate. It was my problem too. If I had gone in 2001, this might have been something which happened 8 years back and never again. So this was, in a sense, I was also seeing myself getting more and more into a position where I never wanted to be. So I was depressed. Sanjay was with me, my son was with me. We were all depressed. So that is part of the. So probably that reflected in the frames too.
Yeah, correct.
Sudeesh has actively been involved in various socio-political and cultural activities in Bangalore and in his hometown Palakkad. This exhibition is expected to be received in multiple perspectives, along with humanitarian and aesthetic angles. The exhibition will be open till March 12th, and if you are in Bangalore, please pay visit to Chitrakala Parishath.
I had always wanted to go to Auschwitz because I had read about World War, Second World War, and all the issues from when I was a child. So when I had the opportunity to go near Auschwitz, we took that opportunity. We went across to Auschwitz, had a one day there where we were part of a guided tour. The main idea was, of course, to see the extent of the cruelty that was forced upon the Jews and to see what they really tried to do over there. And then, of course, wherever I go, I take photographs. So I took a lot of photographs at Auschwitz as well. Of course, there is a history that I was also of late been wondering, how I would behave had I lived in Nazi Germany. So there was another connect to Auschwitz as well. If this were to happen in my lifetime, where would I stand? Would I be with the oppressors? Would I keep quiet? Keeping quiet is also being part of the oppressors. Or would I have the guts to oppose them? Now, romantically, we might say that, yeah, I would oppose all these kind of forces, but that's easier said than done. I was not too sure what would really happen. And I feel that in a democratic country, a citizen shouldn't have to face this kind of hard question. So that was also there in the, I wouldn't say back of my mind, it was quite there in the front of my mind, foremost in my mind as I was walking through Auschwitz. So Auschwitz also represents a little bit of an immediate problem for me as well. Because in my mind I was thinking that, world over with the rise of fanaticism, we are sliding into this kind of a situation. So this is the immediate provocation. And then when I came back with the pictures, we looked at the pictures, the curators and me, and that was the immediate provocation for the show.
And what about, you have been practicing photography since long?
Well, I'm an amateur photographer. I'm not a professional photographer by any yardstick, I think. I've been photographing since I don't know, maybe seriously since 2007 or 2006. So wherever I go, I take my camera along. To me, in my corporate life, this is a great stress relief, and photography has helped me to really appreciate beauty in our everyday life. There is so much of beauty in our everyday life, but we do not often see it because we don't see the frames. But ever since I started photographing, I started to see a lot of frames around me. That has helped to enrich my life overall. Of course, that is not the situation in places like Auschwitz, but my other photography, my regular photography, it has really helped me to. It has really helped to enrich my life. That's what I do.
So when you went to this particular place and you captured these photographs, did you have these intentions? How you will screen it for people, how you can present it to? Did you have any ideas?
No, I had planned to do an exhibition when I went to Auschwitz. Now, wherever I go, I take photographs, and hence I took photographs at Auschwitz. At best, I thought I'd write a blog about it. And normally, I'd write a blog with a lot of pictures in them. So that's why I took the photographs. But once I came back, and then I was discussing those photographs and that experience with my friends Murali and Jayaraj, they felt that in the current situation, it is good to do such a show, and that's why we. So no, there was no plan for a show initially.
You had this, Auschwitz exhibition in Kochi. It was well received. I think around 2,000 people had visited the place.
Yes. The show at Kochi was very well received. We had 4 associated events as well, like talks and film screenings and poetry discussions and all that. And the press also, I would say, supported us very well. All the newspapers, the Hindu, Manorama, Mathrumi, Times of India, Deshabhimani, everybody covered it very well. And 3 TV channels also covered it. So that helped quite a lot to publicize the event. It was very well received.
And any future plans? As in, now there is a lot of receptiveness. In spite of being lockdown and COVID in between, there was much receptiveness in Kochi,
Yes.
and I think Bangalore is also picking up that
Bangalore
way.
is also looking good.
Yeah.
So we will see. I mean, some people are expressing interest. So depending upon whether we get an invitation to conduct a show in some other cities, we are willing to, but we would definitely need local support. And then we are.
This was produced to prevent the government trade looks like a sea of shoes. There's so many shoes.
Germans stored everything and anything that they felt could be of use in their war efforts. So the value of the human was the last and the least. They weren't bothered about the human or the life, they were bothered about their possessions. So even such things as shoes they kept because they could reuse the leather in their war efforts. And this is now displayed at the Auschwitz Museum, so you can see it. And the displays are arranged such that they're not in pairs, it's just one of a pair that is displayed here. And so one shoe or sandal that you see represents one individual. So there were people who use these, and this is what is left of them, the presence in the camp.
It's been such a pleasure coming here because I've known Sudeesh for so many years, maybe more than a decade. And I always knew he was interested in photography, but little did I realize that he would just capture some of the world's most moving, most moving episode so beautifully through pictures. I mean, I'm just overwhelmed and humbled in many ways because when I lived in Germany, somehow for a lot of people, the whole idea of the Holocaust was extremely personal. And even for us, as we read it during our school days in the World War II, about World War II, it really kind of moved you and you began to question human spirit. And you wondered what it is that makes people do things in such a debased manner that it takes away the dignity of being human. Every single photograph in this beautiful exhibition captures moments of truth that as humans we need to recognize that each one of us are vulnerable to becoming that way. What is it that makes people like you and me put others in gas chambers? What is it that makes us to curate the belongings of the people who've been put in gas chambers? I mean, how much worse can it get? And the 2 or 3 pictures that really moved me, the first one is this beautiful picture where Sudeesh has captured through the window the rail track. The metaphor of life is a journey, and we often talk of journeys, and somehow a journey is always associated with a train, a rail. And this metaphor of a journey, and you see these crisscrossing rails, and I just wondered, imagine every day wagons of people in several thousands were brought in. What must have been going on in their minds? Clearly they must have been afraid, but little did they know that their destination was death. And even more interesting, what would it have been as the wagon drivers drove out on those rails? What must have gone on in their minds, knowing fully well that the people they brought would not be the people they take out? And that, to my mind, somehow captures, possibly in the COVID environment, more deeply about the transitory nature of being human. There it was deliberate, intended, but here it was something beyond our control. But yet the metaphor of the journey and the destination and the tracks seemed somehow to resonate with what is happening around us. The other one that really moved me was this picture of the barracks and the picture of those fences. I mean, hundreds of times in movies, documentaries, in pictures, it is the barracks and the fences that are shown. Some of these things are so moving. I think the message, I think that if Sudeesh wanted to leave that, I think he would have, knowing him, is the message that at the end of the day, I think it's about people's dignity, respect, compassion. I think it's this that makes us human. And the day all these things are taken from us, I think we cease to be human. And I think the message is possibly most relevant in today's day and age, and particularly as I'm standing here going through this exhibition at a time when the Russia-Ukraine war is happening. I think we periodically have to go back to the memories in these photographs to be able to ask what's the consequence of what's happening around us. Whatever we might say about the efficacy of the UN and all of those conversations that we do, at the end of the day, as I see these pictures, I understand the profoundness of India being a signatory or participant in the process of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and it just kind of tells you, gosh, the world cannot afford to go through this. It cannot, And the principles of the Constitution and the whole rights, they have a right to live as a human. I mean, that. Absolutely. So therefore, what is it that comes to me for being human? I mean, that becomes a very, very important thing.
But yeah, they are not talking about their experience. We watch these also.
For some time now, I've been thinking about what does taking away dignity do to people.
Precisely. So that is the answer to why do we do this.
Exactly. Because, on one hand is control. We all talk about control, authority, power, but we rarely, talk about every day if I chip away at self-respect and dignity, the values that make us human, compassion, love, somewhere you just lose your sense of who you are, what you are, yourself.
Please subscribe to Media Mathamgi and share your observations. Thank you.